how would you read a minute chart? Are you talking from the perspective, Alina, of is there any differences technically if you were to read, say, a 1 minute chart, Frankie, versus some other time frame on the chart? Is there a difference in how you read that chart?
No, no. I mean, short answer is no. If you're that's just the chart you're looking at, right? The bigger context is because it's such a short time frame, we have to factor in longer term time frames. Everything starts on a 1 minute chart. Then it goes into a 5 minute chart, then a 10 minute, then a 15, then an hourly, then a daily, then a weekly, right? So everything starts super, super small. The big thing is the shorter we scrunch down those time frames, the more things there are potentially going to be that we aren't seeing on an hourly chart, if that makes sense. But a chart is a chart is a chart. And if that's the only chart I traded, if this is like, listen, I'm Frank, I'm the 1 minute trader, I don't do anything else, I'd be like, well, if this thing breaks that support level below 61.34, we go short. If we can kind of break out of this top range 200, maybe that's a bullish signal. A chart is a chart. My time frame is my time frame. But do remember when you're dealing, no different than when we look at primarily our daily charts, we still double check those weeklies and those monthlies because longer term time frames matter too, right? You're just going to have more of that on these intraday charts because, well, there's a lot more, right? The smaller that we go.
Yeah, and Alina, every trader, whether it's swing traders, investors, the longest time frames or the shortest time frames, are going to be looking at multiple time frames. And so, for example, as a day trader, and later on today, that's usually what I have a tendency to do during Fed days, do a little bit of day trading. You're going to drop it down into your favorite day trading time frames. I usually don't like the 1 minute chart.
Yeah, I
Just
don't use the
it's
1 minute
too
at all.
fast for me personally. Some traders love the 1 minute chart. I prefer more of a 2 minute chart, 5 minute chart, 15-minute chart type thing. But you're going to be looking at multiple time frames. One, you look at it from a longer term perspective, saying, okay, what is the trend? What is the general pattern? What do I need to see? And then the shorter time frame, you're looking at executing your trade, your system, your strategy, and whatnot. But Frank's absolutely right. Reading an intraday trend, reading an intraday time frame is the exact same thing as any other degree of technical analysis. Technical analysis is universal to any instrument in any time frame. And so you're still looking at the same things. It's just as a day trader, you'd be looking at a shorter time frame. And so you would be saying, okay, if you break out of this level here, like say this was a daily chart, Alina, and each one of these candles represented one day, what would we say on the technical side of the equation? You're going through consolidation here. It's got time correction to it. And what do you need to see to have that change of behavior? You need to see it break out, right? And if it breaks out, every one of us would be like, oh, that's a really good opportunity. Well, that the day traders do the same thing. They're just doing it on a much shorter time frame. And then there's certain time periods throughout the day that are extremely important on that side of the equation as well. But we're going to read that intraday time period very similar to how we read any other form of trend, pattern, support, and resistance. You're just looking at the shorter time frames from a day trader's perspective. So it's really just that day trader conversation. Now, swing traders, do we look at shorter time frames? Absolutely. For example, I love a 30-minute chart,
30
even
an
even
hourly,
as
absolutely.
or an hour, even as a swing trader. We love looking at those intraday levels to understand, okay, where do we need to get above? Where do we need to get below type things? But you're really looking at a very similar backdrop on an intraday perspective versus a daily perspective.